It's pretty huge. I mean, the first time that I was like on that stage was because my show was being recognized, and I felt so lucky to be a part of it. So to be recognized individually, it's really blowing my mind. Presentation matters because it's the way that people learn outside of our communities. So right now, especially with this political climate, Latinx communities are being villainized, and people believe them if they don't know any Latinx people in their lives because they have no way to know otherwise. So representation that paints us in a positive light and the way that we actually are as a community is so crucial so that people don't see us as the enemy, but see us as the people that we actually are, and they see us as humans, not this alien thing that like is going on right now. I mean, I would not be on the show without Gloria Calderon-Kellett and Mike Royce and Norman Lear. I had basically no credits to my name when I got to One Day at a Time, so they definitely advocated for me.
I mean, it's interesting because I've been in the business for a very long time, and like I said, I always kind of shied away from just being involved in selling things or like putting myself out there. I'm not very good at that. But considering the political climate that we find ourselves in right now, it's necessary and incumbent upon all of us to do what we can to sort of counterbalance the things that are out there in the media. So it is something very important, and I feel like it's to some extent like my duty to be here. You know what I mean? Yeah.
It's nice to know that the work you're doing is having a greater impact than just what's on the screen, and that's incredibly important to me. So I'm so happy to be here. Oh, it's right from the beginning, from my executive team at the Garcia companies, which are all women and diverse women, to our films, who we cast, who we work with. It's just a natural part of process. That's what I think is really exciting. We don't have to intentfully do it. We naturally do it because it's who we are. Oh, first of all, I think there is a movement in the Latinx community. There are more voices, there's more impact, there's more culture. You see it everywhere, which is very exciting. So I think now we have to strike. When the eyes are aware and people are aware and people are looking for richness, this is time for us as a community to do more, to say more, to be more aggressive, and to put our thoughts and our creativity out there. It's everything. It means that how I grew up is home, and I find that feeling, that passion of being a Cuban, growing up first generation, and that love, and it moves into the workplace. It means more diversity. It means more richness in culture and what we're experiencing, the things we see, what we wear, what we eat. It's a life that's so much richer.
Well, it's amazing company to be in, and the idea that our show has been, accepted by this community means everything. The idea that they see themselves reflected in the show is the whole point. It's the whole point. It would have been impossible to write this show without the influence and support and participation of a Latinx team on every level. On our directors, our crew, obviously our cast, because it's not my story. It's just not my story. The original was a story that I made up with my partner, Chris Kaiser. We just imagined it, and this is a story that is happening in real life, and there's no way to tell it without having it informed by people who are actually living the experience. Well, certainly this is one. I mean, I mean it when I say what it means to have a community, a Latinx community, look at the show and think there's value in it. And I think it's a story, it's a culture that's underrepresented on television, and the fact that this community can embrace it is actually the highlight of it, that it means we're doing the job we wanted to do.
It's surreal. I mean, there's so many Trailblazers here in the room, Miss Nelly Galan being one of them, and then being blessed enough that she's actually, announcing me and introducing me tonight is really cool too. And I mean, the other nominees and honorees, it's pretty epic. I mean, look, you look back, you have Ann Sarnoff here, America Ferrera was somewhere else over there. I saw a few others. The room is star-studded, and to be here is pretty cool. Yeah. Well, for me, I mean, I think the first one was, leaving a man that I love and adore in Tyler Perry to then get behind more than one storyteller. So I'm building a media company using the studio space that he once owned and getting behind more than one content creator. For me, it's important to put women and people of color front and center and really support those stories, but also those storytellers. Well, when I grew up as a little boy, there weren't many people that looked like me and my family on TV. It was few and far between. So if I'm able to change that through entertainment and give a different perception to the youth in the world that, if you see it, you can be it, then if I can do that a little bit at a time and, work with people like Nelly and people that have paved the way for people like me to be here, then I'd say I'd be pretty happy with myself.
Well, I think there is no true empowerment until we own our media, until we own our own studios. Tyler Perry set an incredible example for Ozzie. He's worked very hard for 25 years, and how incredible that he passed the baton to Ozzie. And I could not be prouder of another Latino that I know will do the right thing by all of us.
Yeah, I mean, I was honored to have been asked to MC this event. And I feel it's such an important award show because it we honor people that are out there making a difference and really changing the landscape of the for the Latinx community. So I feel like representation matters, and when a community sees themselves up on that screen represented fully and truthfully, then it just gives them permission to dream and to feel like they belong. So I think that's why these awards are super important.
Tonight's all about a celebration. It's about celebrating our Latinx talent. Whenever the Oscars come around, I love to see the Oscars, but we're not represented like we should be. It takes place here in LA County. The Hollywood industry is here in LA County, and we're more than 50% of the population. One day I hope to see in front of the screen and behind the screen more than 50% of Latinx. I think the past year the highlights was having 3 Latinas during the Super Bowl. You had Shakira and J-Lo perform, but you also had Lovato sing the national anthem. That personally meant something to me because it was 3 Latinas. I don't think that has ever happened. That was history.
Thank you to NHMC for this recognition. As I sit in this room, what I feel above all is that this is an era in Latinx stories. We are living in an era brought upon by many, many generations of Latino and Latina actors, producers, writers, directors who stayed the course and they paved the path. And sometimes they did it all alone. And sometimes they went completely unseen, unrecognized, uncelebrated. And sometimes they never got to see their visions and their talents meet with opportunities that they deserved. So as a producer, bringing opportunity to the Latino community and helping to build a pipeline for our stories to be seen and to be celebrated, and for our talent. We have so much talent. To be given the opportunity to shine is what drives me as a producer. And what I know now, in this room, in this moment, in this new era, is that unlike so many before me, I don't have to do it alone. Because we are in an era of gentrified and vida. We're in an era of one day at a time and party of five. On my block, East Los High, the expanding universe of Ashley Garcia, and Diary of a Future President. We are in the era of In the Heights. And we're in it together. We are no longer scrambling and competing with one another for a paltry slice of the pie. We are baking and serving up a whole bunch of tres leches. And we get to do it together, and we get to invite our allies in this industry and audiences from every walk of life to laugh and cry and to celebrate with us. So thank you to our allies in the room, those of you who are not particularly from the Latino community, and yet you have the capacity to see the value of our lives, of our stories. You invest your money in our storytellers and give real creative power to our voices. Thank you. We can't do it without our allies. And most of you know by now that if you empower us, we will deliver beautiful content and voracious audiences. And we promise to make it a party. For a very long time, I felt very alone and isolated as a Latina in this industry. I know many of us in this room have felt that way. But we can write a new mandate for Latinos in this industry. A mandate that says we will lift each other up, and we will lift each other through new doors, that we will celebrate each other's successes, that we will shower each other with praise, and that we will love each other to the top, which is where we belong. Thank you to the NHMC for this recognition.
This is a special, very special moment for me. I don't get many I moments, as I like to call it. I get a lot of we moments, and I'm so grateful that the National Hispanic Media Coalition has seen our work and seen my work and seen it to be of value, and I thank you for that. I made a decision many, many years ago that I would have a very specific leadership style. And that decision required a lot. It took a lot out of me. It requires great accountability, a tremendous amount of responsibility. It was the recognition that I would be going to places where people have never stepped before. And I would usually have what we say, Hiram and I joke, I usually have my face in the wind because there are no individuals there before me. But I was always emboldened by the fact that the steps I was laying down in particular would make the path easier for those who would come behind me. And I was very much excited and inspired to know that as I was moving forward, I would always be reaching back to pull my family, my partners, my friends, the audience, the individuals I work with me. Now the truth is, I think we all know in this industry that no great thing is done alone. And I would not be here today if it wasn't for the fact that the people who surround me believe deeply in my vision. If my beautiful husband, Dave Rienzi, understands that having a credit with the last name Garcia means so much more than just me getting credit. It means something to our community. Thank you, Dave.
Thank you again, NHMC and Carrie Burke, for inviting me to be part of this celebration tonight, and for the work that you do year-round advocating for positive portrayals of Latinos by Latinos in the media, and for supporting Latinx writers and artists so they can tell their stories the way they want to. The creator of El Chavo del Ocho was Roberto Gómez Bolaños, the great comic Chespirito. He passed away about 5 years ago. I don't know if he ever got an Impact Award, but he made a huge impact on me. If the representation on Riverdale and Chilling Adventures of Sabrina and Katie Keene inspire any young person to dream of being a writer or a director or an actor the way El Chavo inspired me, I couldn't be prouder of anything. And for the first time in my life, I said to him, "Dad, I want to be a writer." And my dad said to me, "Robertito, if you're going to say that you're a writer, will you do me one favor? Will you please say that you're a Nicaraguan writer?" And I said, "Sure, sí, papi." But at the time, I confess, I didn't understand why that was important to him. But right now, in this room, at this moment, I do. I am Roberto Aguirre-Sacasa, and I am a Nicaraguan writer, blessed by my mother and father. Thank you. Who stands on the shoulders of Rubén Darío, and Roberto Gómez Bolaños and Tania Sriracha. Thank you for this incredible award. And again, NHMC, thank you for everything you do for us.
When we highlight our shared humanity, we can create bonds that transcend differences and unify us in new ways. As cultural gatekeepers, we know it is incumbent upon us to create new opportunities for diverse storytellers and stories, as well as for creators in a wide range of personal histories, experiences, and ideas. We believe everyone should be able to see themselves in the stories we tell.
They use words like criminal, illegal, drug runners, animals. These are terms that are used to describe us in media. But on Magnum PI, a remake of an absolutely iconic American show, a guy with a Z in his last name gets to be the hero. That's something I'm very proud of, and it is not lost on me how important that is. Not a drug dealer, not a criminal, or any other trope that people like to put out there in the media or use as some rhetorical device against who we are. We get to tell the story of who we are. We get to show our humanity, our beauty, our grace. I'm very humbled to be in this position, and for many years I avoided this position. I didn't want to be up here. I don't want to be accepting awards. It's generally not who I am. But I feel like it's important in these times. I feel like this is, this is something that it's incumbent upon all of us to do. So I'd like to thank the National Hispanic Media Coalition, Peter Lankoff, everybody at CBS, and all the viewers who tune in for giving me this award and helping me achieve this in my career. I thank you very much. I'm very humbled by it.
And I think every one of us in this room should go out there and continue to push a different narrative. Thank you.
There's no way that I would ever be on that set or stand here tonight if it weren't for all of you that have fought this battle of getting people to believe that the Latinx community is full to the brim with intelligent, talented, indispensable humans whose stories deserve to be told. Stories like the ones we tell on One Day at a Time. Yeah. And being Elena's vessel and getting to portray a young, empowered Latinx woman who will undoubtedly change the world with her incredible brain and her ability to love others has been the greatest privilege of my life.
Thank you to the NHMC for this great honor, and to everyone in this room for coming together to support each and every one of us. It's so important for all of us to show up and fight for our culture and for what we really believe in. Congratulations to all of the honorees here tonight. It's humbling to be recognized as a trailblazer in a room full of leaders, creators, and agents of change.
25 years ago, when we did the original, 25 years ago, we had to imagine what it was like for 5 kids to raise themselves when their parents were suddenly taken from them. We just made it up. Today, we have only to read the paper and to watch the news to see versions of this story happening every single day. Parents suddenly taken away and children left behind to care for themselves. I have to say, I wish the Acosta story were something we had to imagine. I've been doing this for a very long time. And never before have I written a television show that has the potential to change people's minds. That is a very big deal to me. It's a privilege to be given that opportunity, but it comes with the obligation to include other voices in the storytelling, and that, I have to say, is new to me. If the Acosta's experience rings true, it's because it was shaped by a Latinx cast and a Latinx writer's room, by a slate of directors, a costume designer, a cinematographer, a script supervisor, by Yolanda Guillen, our beloved casting director who's here tonight. In short, by a team of artists and craftspeople who understood in ways I can't pretend to what it feels like to straddle 2 cultures, to see your own country try to cast out people who have made the same journey as you, or the same journey as your parents and grandparents did before you, and to cast aspersions on those good, hard-working people who simply want to give their children a better life.
In 2020, we will be able to see films such as In the Heights, West Side Story, bringing Latino stories to the big screen. We now have series such as Mr. Iglesias, Gentified, The Flash, Superstore, Party of 5, Magna P.I., One Day at a Time, Riverdale, and Vida, bringing positive Latino characters into our homes. We are also looking forward to seeing the Selena series, which 3 of our alumni from our NHMC TV Writers programs have been staffed. Our economic importance as consumers of media continues to be undervalued. The consequences, artistic, economic, and social, are profound. Most immediately, and dangerously the scarcity of authentic and accurate representations of our community, the media perpetuates stereotypes. In turn, some of these people use these xenophobic caricatures as justification for human rights abuses. And you know what I'm talking about, such as putting our children in cages, and the El Paso massacre, August of 2019, which was one of the deadliest hate crimes in history against immigrants and the American Latino. This injustice must end. The need for reformation is now.